Hello, this is Dr. Dawn Michael, and today I'm going to talk about hormones as it relates to transgender. And I was watching a video that had Ben Shapiro talking about Caitlyn and how she was thinking of transitioning back. I'm not sure if this was even real or not, but I just left a small comment on the video about hormones. It was some interesting comments that I got. Wasn't really expecting them. It was just a simple statement, but I really wanted to explain what I meant by hormones. And that is, when we're talking about somebody taking hormones or transitioning, most of the information out there, and I even looked it up on, let me see, a guide to hormone therapy for trans people. And it did talk about how it changes their body parts, how their body transitions, and how the different hormones affect them physically. But it didn't really go into how hormones affect somebody mentally. And I'm not just talking about where they can make you depressed or it can make you anxious. It also changes the way that you think about yourself. There's so much that we don't know about hormones and how it affects the brain that to say that I'm an expert, which I would be considered an expert in this field, the more that I know about this, the less that I feel we really know on how hormones impact the way that our brain functions, how we think about ourselves, how just a simple hormone can really change our thought pattern. And so this is one thing that I felt was left out of the pamphlet, and it's a really important topic that we need to discuss more. Now, the video did go into mental health and how, most people have mental health issues that are deciding to transition. And I think a certain part of that is true. I think that people do have emotional issues that transitioning is not going to help. Taking hormones is not going to help. And especially when you're a child, a young adult, or a teenager, especially before going through puberty, we don't know the effects on the brain that this may have. We don't know how this may actually change a person for better, for worse, or just completely change their personality and how they look at themselves. So I think that more studies have to be done on how this affects somebody's personality. Because we do know that when you add in testosterone, when you add in estrogen, not only does it physically change the body, but it can physically change your mood. And it can be from minute to minute. It can be for, long periods of time. And when a person is transitioning, this is something that they're going to have to take the rest of their lives. So it's not something that a person wants to jump into. Now, there are people who really do feel this way, and they struggle with this on a daily basis. And I do believe that this is real, and I do believe that people really do feel like they're not in the right body for them. And some of this is medical. There was one instance where there was a town, it's Salinas in the Dominican Republic, and the girls there turned into boys. But this was more of a medical issue where the Y chromosome began to produce testosterone. However, the enzyme that caused the hormone to surge in the male baby, they did not grow a penis until they hit puberty, and then they grew a penis. So there's different studies out there that are interesting. It doesn't go into how much this affected them mentally, as far as brain development, as far as how hormones affect your personality. But what we do know, especially as people get older and in women and men where they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, that hormones does affect them not only physically, but it can affect them mentally. It can affect their mood. It can affect, whether they're anxious. It can affect thinking. It can affect, cognitive ability and sharpness. There's so much that hormones do with not just with changing our physical appearance, but also with changing how we feel about ourselves. And I think we have to be more careful when we are talking about children and young adults and going through the hormone process. I think people really need to step back and do some more introspection and find out, how do I feel about myself? You know, do I like myself? What parts do I like, don't I like? Is it the fact that I feel my physical appearance outside doesn't match inside? Or is there more to it? And before jumping into any type of hormone treatment, I think this is really important to discover this more thoroughly. And also, when taking hormones, it does affect how you feel sexually. And, it affects your libido. It affects how you feel about yourself as a sexual person. And so this also plays or has an impact on how you see yourself as a person on the outside. So what I want to say to you out there is to really not be so critical of people who are going through this. Some people do have some mental issues with it. Other people are just trying to find the answers. I do feel that some of this has been pushed upon other people in a way that can create some problems. And I think that this is something that we have to resolve. And if anyone has any questions or wants to leave a comment, I'd be more than happy to try to answer some of them. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I believe everyone deserves to have a healthy sex life, and so do you.